Mr. Beard here with a class recap for November 2nd, 2011. We began today by finishing up our group pre-reading projects concerning the Odyssey. These projects served as background information to gear us up for our reading. We received information on important events and characters of the Odyssey, as well as the author. Homer is our alleged author of both the Iliad and the Odyssey, though we know very little about him. This Homer, not that Homer, who is the head of the Simpson family. We then received some important background information on possible origins of the Trojan War. One possible origin of the war goes all the way back to a party where all of the major Greek gods attended. It was a wedding reception where one key goddess was not invited, so she decided to cause all kinds of problems by throwing out a golden apple with the inscription, "To the fairest of them all." The problem is, many different goddesses thought they were the fairest of them all. Athena, Hera, and the goddess of love herself, Aphrodite. The three goddesses, all wanting the golden apple, all thinking they deserved the golden apple, went to Zeus, the king of the gods, and demanded that he pick one to receive the golden apple, which would go to the most beautiful. Zeus was no fool and realized this was a lose-lose situation, so he gave the task to a mortal named Paris. Paris, upon hearing the news from Hermes, was not exactly thrilled, but he decided to go forward anyway, with each goddess offering him a different reward. Finally, Aphrodite, the last goddess to get a chance to offer him a reward, offered him the love of the most beautiful woman in the entire world, Helen. He accepted. The only trouble with Helen, as beautiful as she was supposed to have been, was that she was already married to Menelaus, a powerful Greek king. So, as she ran away with Paris, Menelaus was obviously not pleased, and he mustered all of his Greek comrades to go to Troy and get her back. Menelaus' comrades agreed, and they went to Troy, and the Trojan War began. After talking about origins of the Trojan War, we next talked about a little background on the main character of the Odyssey, Odysseus. The main point we wanted to hit on Odysseus is his cleverness. He is a hero who uses his intellect and guile to outsmart his opponents rather than his strength or superior fighting ability to outfight his opponents. We see a great example of that cleverness at work with the Trojan horse. The Trojan horse was Odysseus' idea to trick the Trojans into allowing some Greeks to enter the city without a single blow being struck. Odysseus' men constructed a giant wooden horse that was hollow on the inside. Him and his men then hid inside the horse and protected like they had retreated. The Trojans, thinking the war was over, took the giant Trojan horse into Troy as a final trophy of their supposed victory. Long story short, they began to celebrate that night, and when they fell asleep, Odysseus and his men jumped out, slaughtered any nearby guards, and led in the entire Greek army, thus single-handedly winning the Trojan War. We'll talk more tomorrow about Odysseus' long and hard trip home from that war. And that concludes our class recap for November 2nd, 2011.